Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. My apologies for not doing the webinar yesterday. I had some technical issues. We returned to our normal slot of Sunday mornings for the webinars. So for the links for the webinars, this is where you'll find them. I will always post them here on the latest video in my channel, on my YouTube channel. So what I'll do is I'll just put in the comment on the latest video. This is where you'll find the link. Okay, so you'll also find the link on my Facebook profile if you're following me on Facebook. So let me just see here if I've got Facebook close to me. So typically, if you're looking for my link, you can just follow me. This is my profile name on Facebook. And also, we've got a group here on Telegram. So, but this group is not for any analysis. It's purely just for the webinar links, and I'll probably just send the video link, the complete video link, and in here. So you'll see that there's no analysis here. So if you want to get the link firsthand, this way you'll find it on Telegram. So there's that link for the Telegram link channel. You'll find it also under my videos, under the latest video. So these are my contact details there. You'll find them under the description on all the videos. So for the Telegram link, that's where you'll find the link, as well as a trading view link. That's where you'll find it. Also, for those that are interested in the course, our next course is going to be in June, the 17th of June. It's a 10-day course. For more detailed information on the course, send me an email or any of the contacts listed here under the video. So you'll get information, more detailed information, such as the timing of the course, the content of the course. So even if you're not interested in joining us now, you can just make an inquiry just so you can see how our group works, so you can have an idea. So as much as the course is only in June, you can join at any time because the whole course is pre-recorded on videos, which means at any time when you join, you get access to that material, and then you can still attend the live course in June. Right, so let's get started with this week's analysis. There are two pairs that we've been talking about, the pound pairs, for the last couple of days or the last couple of weeks, that we wanted them to push higher as far as the structure was concerned. But let's just do a bit of a recap. We're not starting yet. I'm just showing you a recap of what we've been looking at. So what you see here is the chart that is sent in our Slack group. We use Slack for our group. This is where you'll be if you are part of our group. This is a chart on trade setups. This is where I post my setups. It's a couple of setups that I post on this channel for the members. It is not a signal group, guys. So members that are in the group know what to do when a setup like this is posted. You don't just rush in like this just because the setup has been posted, but it was one of the good ones. This was pound New Zealand. You can see that we were looking for this one to push higher, but it did not push up in a straight line. So it moved up. It actually made this correction that we were looking at here. It pushed up, but it didn't also reverse before we eventually came up to this level. We're actually just a few pips from target on pound New Zealand. So if you just go to pound New Zealand on the live chart, let's just go to the live chart on pound New Zealand, just so you can see how that played out. This is pound New Zealand. So we've been waiting for pound New Zealand to push up to the 199, to the 1.99 level. This is where we are right now. That is how it has pushed. So this is on the on the daily, so you can see it on the 4 hour. That is how that one played out. Let me just put that one up. So you can see this was when it was posted. We expected it to push higher. Okay, went back out, went up. Okay, did not quite play out nicely, but it gave an entry opportunity here, but then came back here also for that pullback, as I mentioned, and then it just pushed up higher in the last couple of days, and now we've just missed the target by a few pips. I think it's time we can take for those that have been watching and you've taken this one, you can take your profits off here on this one. Another one was pound Audi, which was very interesting. So we spoke about pound New Zealand for the last couple of weeks. It has been a trade of the week for the past couple of days since this corrective structure started here, and then eventually we're coming here. So now we're going to update what this is going to play out as in the next sessions as we start with the analysis for today. Right, so that was a pound Audi, pound New Zealand. Let's look at pound New Zealand. So pound New Zealand was a perfect one, perfect one, because this one actually played out during our daily webinar. We've got daily webinars from Mondays to Thursday where we look into the setups in detail. So this one was actually ready to be taken as is. Okay, as is, it was ready. All the confirmations were on. And the target was the 480 pips, which has now played out perfectly painless. It was actually a very nice trade that we've traded in the last week. So this is how pound Audi has played out on the live chart. Let's just go look at the live chart. This is how it is. This one has reached the target, right on the target, and it starts reversing. Inch perfect, no problem, painless on this one. It's one of those good trades. So I've always said that when you're trading, you're always looking for these types of moves, because if you're trading these kind of moves, this is a corrective structure. Okay. If those who have been following the webinars, you can go a couple of webinars back before we came down to the blue box. We actually expected that this was going to reverse from the blue box area, and it has played out exactly like that. So this move was not only focused when we were here, we focused this move when this was coming down here, that it was going to come into the blue box and it was going to push higher. And this is how wave analysis can be so accurate. Now, as far as this trade setups is concerned, so the members will see that I don't always post for the sake of posting here. So I post when there is a high probability setup, something like this, which is like a textbook setup that is very easy to trade. So that's what you're looking for. You don't want to be trading in corrections, because that's where you lose money. Okay, so let's get started with today's analysis. As usually, we're going to start with the cryptocurrencies, because they are looking very interesting now. Let's look at Bitcoin first. Right, so looking at Bitcoin, let's look on the daily first. Welcome everybody, those that have just joined us, welcome to the webinar. And please don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button on the YouTube, on YouTube there. Right, so this is how Bitcoin looks right now. So let's do this here. Clean it up a bit. Let's clean this up a bit. So this has also played out perfectly well from the analysis last week. It has pushed up higher as we expected. But let's look at the high degree first and what we're looking for. Okay, as usual, I'm gonna keep showing you this every single week so you can see where we're going with this. So we've made the impulse up to the end of 2018. So from 2018, that is last year, Bitcoin has been correcting. That's almost a year and a half now that we've been in this corrective structure. So now let's understand what this corrective structure looks like. So this corrective structure looks like this. So we made a 1, we made a 2, we made a 3 down. Okay, and then we've got this one as a pullback here that pulls back up in 5 waves there, and then we pull back in 3 waves. I'm going to explain these 3 waves just now. Okay, so I've always been expecting that we're going to make a move like this. So if you look a couple of videos back, we actually expected that this current move here was going to come down. This current move was going to end like this, and we're going to have this, and we're going to have that. We're then going to have that red. Then we're going to go up. But we've adjusted that in the last couple of weeks based on how this is playing out. So this is what we are looking for. So this current move to the upside could be this one here. So we don't know at this stage whether this is going to break this top here to make an expanded flat, or it can make a running flat. So that's the tricky part. So what's going to happen is we're going to watch this move and watch for a reversal if it's going to reverse. For now, it has been making continuation patterns for the last 3 weeks. Okay, so we'll see. We'll update how this is going when I go into the 4-hour time frame. So this is the structure that I'm looking for now here. So this is a 3-wave move. Why is this a 3-wave move here? That's because you've got this structure here, got this here. Okay, and if you wanted to go down in the lower degree, this is what this will look like. let's get a different color now. We'll get the purple here. So if we look at the purple degree, this is what it will look like. A move down here, a three-wave move there in blue, and a move down. This is why I was saying that this three-wave, this green here is a three-wave move. We can look at the purple there. Now, what are we going to expect to happen? We're going to expect this last move here to happen as close as possible to zero. Okay, so if this goes all the way, we're going to have to adjust the structure. Okay, but we will still expect that we get the last move to the downside, and then we can get this move to the upside. Okay, but there's another possibility for this move. This may go up impulsively or correctively, but we will watch how this is going. But for now, the structure that we have is this one. We've got this structure that has made a 1 and a pullback here, and it looks like it is making another internal structure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So possibly here you're going to have in red 1, 2 before we get any pullback or any sort of correction. We'll see this clearly in the 4-hour. Now to label this, you've got a 3-wave move down, that is your W. You've got a 3-wave move in green, that is your X. And you've got what you will expect also this red to be a 3-wave move, similar to what you have here. So this is what it will look like. You would have this one as a green 3-wave. 1, 2, 3. We'll clean this up just now. The same way that you have this one. 1, 2, 3. So look at these greens. You'll see that it's coming down in 3 waves all around. And let's just clean this one up. Let's clean this one up. So this is why we're expecting this 3-wave structure to the downside. So it will be a W, it will be an X, it will be a Y to the downside. That's the structure that you're looking for. Very clear. If it plays out like this, we'll be putting in buy orders right at the bottom here. Okay. Otherwise, we'll see on the 4-hour. Right now, it is still making continuation patterns. No signs of reversal from this move. Okay. So if you like numbers a lot, but what you'll see is what we've done here is to identify the structure. Labeling comes as second nature. It's not labeling is not it's important, but it's not the main thing. So the important thing with the Elliott wave theory is to identify the structures. Okay, then you can label as much as with as much detail as possible. But if you identify the structures clearly, then labeling becomes very easy. Now this is an A. Now some have been sending me inboxes asking, why do I have A, why do I have W there? There's a very clear explanation for that, and that is what we discussed in the course. So you'll see that we've got a ABC structure here internally. We also have another ABC structure in purple here, A, and then it's a B, that's a C structure. Sorry, that is actually a W cross structure. My apologies. That is a W, that is a X, that is a Y structure in the lower degree. Okay, internally here, if you wanted to take it even further, you will have this 3-wave move here. You will label this one here as well. Let's clean that up a bit, giving you as much detail as possible, right? So you will also have this one as an ABC. I hope you can see the blue on black there, ABC structure. Okay, but if you can see the structure, you should be able to follow this. Now, also within this purple, you'll see that you will have also another ABC. Now, we're just making it very detailed and complicated unnecessarily here, but this is the process that you will follow if you wanted to label down to the lower degree or if you wanted to label up to the higher degree. Now, let's go to the 4-hour and see what is happening with this structure. Okay, so now let's go on to the 4-hour. That will be a beautiful move if we get that move. Last move to the downside. I'm looking at a comment by York here on the chat box. All right, so now this is what we're looking at. What did we look at last week? Let's talk about the week before first. So we looked at this as a running flat the week before, and we said this was going to push up higher and break the top, which has now happened. But while in doing that, this was actually making a higher degree structure, which is this expanding flat. Okay, so this is the expanding flat that we discussed last week, and it has now played out. Okay, so that has also broken the top here. We're going to look at this one in the 1 hour as well, because it looks like a continuation pattern. Looks like it's still going to push up higher as well there. Now let's look at the whole structure. We've got a pulsing move here. First, we've got a corrective structure there. Now, internally here, we're going to check this off. You will see that we've got a structure like this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is possibly A5. So if this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 internally here, you're possibly still going to have another pullback in yellow in the same degree as the yellow, and then a 5, and this structure will then be complete. Then from there, you will possibly get a pullback. Unfortunately, I've run out of space there. Let's see if we can make it full screen there, which should be aligned with the chart. Let's see there. Let's try. Okay, it's no longer aligned. So that is what we're going to expect. So let me do this again. Let me do this again for clarity. 1, 2, you can put in the numbers. And then internally here, you've got another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, somebody can ask me, why am I putting in a 1 here when this looks like a 3-wave move? This is not a 3-wave move. It is actually a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure. That is why I can put in a 1. So you find a lot of people making mistakes also putting in 1s and 3s on 3-wave structures. Now, this is what this will look like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why we're still expecting that this one will push for the last one here. Then you'll get this one in the last degree to do this. Now, if you like numbers, this will be a 1, this will be a 2, 3, and a 4, and a 5. Just remember this 4 can be in any of the corrective structures that Elliott discovered. So that we're looking for this one to push a little bit higher here, because this looks like a continuation pattern. Let's go to the 1 hour and look how that is playing out. Spend a lot of time on this one. Should be very clear for you guys. So 1 hour, what are we looking for here? We're looking for this to be a continuation pattern. So if you look on the 1 hour, this may be making a possible corrective structure like this one that will push higher. Even if it is not that and it is simply this one, that can still push up higher if it comes only to this level. So we're still expecting a bit of a push to the upside on this one. Okay, so a bit of a continuation pattern to the upside. No signs as yet for reversal. Okay, so let's see how that one plays out. So that is Bitcoin. The rest are following Bitcoin. So let's look at Litecoin now. So Litecoin also, if I'm just looking at the last piece here, let me look at the daily first. I'm not going to go into as much detail as I did with Bitcoin. You should be able to follow that. So Litecoin, we forecasted the reversal area at this area here. So you see that we've got the blue box here, the famous blue box. Very accurate strategy that we use to forecast reversal areas. So we focused that reversal now. It has made a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and we're looking for a possible 5 there. Okay, so let's see how this is playing out. If I go to the lower degree, let's see how this is playing out here. Let's see if we still have a continuation pattern for further upside. Let's look on the 4 hour. Okay, on the 4 hour, this has made a 3-wave pullback like this. This is a 3-wave pullback. You've got a structure there and there. So you've got another 1, 2, 3 up in the lower degree like that. You've got a pullback here. So there's a likelihood that this one does this, this, that, and makes another 3-wave structure, making this a WXY structure. Does not have to do this structure though. Okay, Bitcoin should lead in terms of the structure to be followed, because there's a number of alternatives that this one can play out. So if it makes a WXY structure, then this will push higher. And then if you look here now, let's just have a look here. We've made a 3-wave move up. It has made a 3-wave move up, 1, 2, 3 from current levels. It has also made a 3-wave pullback. Let's do it cleanly. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So from here, this can actually start pushing up higher to come and retest the top here. And that will be the target if this one gives a nice entry point here. Pulsing move here and a corrective structure is a nice entry point to target this level, but it will have to break this level first. That is a Litecoin. And Ethereum has already made a pulsing move, so you can just look for a corrective structure here to take it further up to retest the top there. Okay, it has already made a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 pullback. So it wants to make the last 3-wave move to come and retest the top here, making the structure like this, WXY. It can be a WXY move if we come and retest the top, or it can also be an ABC move if this one comes back down here as an impulse. Okay, if it comes back as an impulse. If it comes as 3 waves, that's a WXY structure. Then either way, it will push up higher like that. That is Ethereum. Now, looking lastly on the cryptocurrency, let's look at Ripple. Let's show this one on the higher degree as well and look at the higher degree structure. Looking in the higher degree structure on Ripple, this is how we're looking at this sequence. I need to get my auto scale here. Right. So this is what Ripple looks like. It's a similar to Bitcoin. We've started here to the end of 2013, where we've been making a corrective structure from there. So that has made that move, that has made this move, that has made this move. Okay. Now that is now a 3-wave structure running flat, as you can see. So that gives you a WXY structure. WXY structure. Now, what we are looking for here is this. We are looking for this to make a 3-wave move here. 1, 2. Is this going to retest the bottom here? We wanted it to come down here. And then we're expecting this pulsing move here on Ripple. Now, 2 things can happen. This move may not be making this corrective structure, but if it is, then it should be only coming, it should only come up to this level. We get another move in yellow, to as close as possible to 0 before we go to the upside. What will this do? If we get a move like that, this will mean that this is the structure we have. It will be like this. You will have here a bigger structure, which is a W, and that W is representing this whole WXY structure. And then you'll have an X, you would have an Y, and this will push higher. But you don't want to miss this while waiting for this pullback, because this may not come, and we're going to have to adjust the structure if it doesn't come. The same way that we looked at the same way that Bitcoin has played out. Now, if we get a corrective structure here for upside, take it, because this may be the one that goes. This may be this one. Okay, so this is on the daily. Let's look at the divergence as well. If you look at the divergence, this one looks like it is already making divergence, and this is going to go. So I've said on this structure, look for a very strong pulsing move initially to come to at least this level. But that move, if you catch it, it may go all the way. Okay, so don't miss that one if it happens. So you want this to, we just want this to retest the bottom here. So if it comes here, touches the bottom here, I would even put in a buy order at this level for this move to happen. Okay, then I'll move it to break even if it comes to this level, because from there it can just keep going. It can just keep going. So this is almost ready to push up. So keep an eye, track it, don't miss it. That is Ripple. All right, so let's look at the indices. Indices have been quite simple for the last, actually from the beginning of the year. We've been on a bullish run from the beginning of this year on all the indices. Okay, so let's just do an overview here. You've seen how we looked at. You can watch the previous videos to see how we forecasted the structures on the indices. You can watch the videos from as far back as October last year, where we forecasted this structure 1, 2, 3 as an expanding flat, and expecting that we're going to have all-time highs. We are actually at all-time highs here now. So any corrective structure, we'll expect a bit of a deeper corrective structure at this point for a push higher. Okay, I think just an hour ago, this was at around 294.95. It has just pulled back about an hour ago. We've had this drop for now, but that for me is just a pullback. Okay, so this is on the daily. If you look clearly, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure here. So it makes a lot of sense that we get a bit of a deeper pull back from this level before we push higher, because this is your wave 4 and we're working towards completing the wave 5. Okay, so let's look at this one here. Maybe just look at the 4 hour and look at that pullback. Okay, we're still actually around the same level, no pullback. So we're still at 294. I couldn't see that one on the daily. So this can still push a little bit higher. There's no signs of a reversal as yet, but at some point we're going to get that deeper correction. It's just very risky to buy at these levels. From the time when this has been going up, it has been quite easy. And all I've been saying with these daily webinars is just every time you get corrective structures, it's a pullback, it's an opportunity for a buy. It's a 3-wave move. Opportunity for a buy is a 3-wave move. Opportunity for a buy is a 3-wave move. Not forced. You'll see it clearly there. 1, 2, 3. It's an opportunity for a buy. It's another opportunity for a buy. You won't see this one clearly in this degree. Another opportunity, another opportunity, and now it's making this push to the upside. This is another opportunity for a small buy to the upside. It's quite risky now to do it here, so it would have been very profitable if you were taking it from the bottom, as we've been saying with all these webinars. So still expecting this one to push a little bit higher. We are at all-time highs currently, right at all-time highs, and expect that corrective structure. So if you get a corrective structure here, it's telling you that we're still going to continue to the upside. So watch this area here for a corrective structure. That is the S&P 500. If we look at the Dow, let's look at the Dow. Exactly the same structure as the S&P 500, except that the Dow has not made the all-time highs as yet. It's still missing by a few points. Just lagging a bit. So the S&P 500 may lead the Dow in what happens at this level, because we're already here. So if the S&P starts pulling back, this one may come and do this. We can just copy and paste what the S&P 500 would have done when we get to this level, because it has already completed the move. So similarly here, if you're looking on the 1 hour, on the 4 hour, you have a 5-wave structure. You have a 5-wave structure here. You've got one, let's show it in yellow, which is a lot clearer. 1, 2, 3, 4. This 5 looks like it's ending with a diagonal 1, 2, 3, possibly, and we're looking for a 5 here. So your wave 5 looks like it's making a diagonal. Now after that, let's get a different color. Let's use a blue that is not so visible for the boundaries. And that looks like this is what's going to happen. If that is the case, then that is your wave 5 in yellow. That will complete there. That will complete there like that. My line is skewed. Let's draw it the straight line. That will be a wave 5 completing there. So currently you want this to push a little bit higher to go complete 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the last bigger wave 5. Now from there you'll expect a pullback in 3 waves. Okay, you'll expect a pullback for the whole move, actually, for this whole move. So that can even be a double structure or something like that before we push higher. But that doesn't matter for now. You're looking for this move to the upside. We'll update the next move in the next coming sessions. We're just missing the all-time highs by a few pips, few points. Looking good, the Dow. Right, so that is a Dow, and the Nasdaq should be a similar structure. The Dow is a similar structure. Okay, also as you can see that we are busy with this corrective structure. So this one looks like it's still gonna make a bit of a push lower before we push higher like the rest. Let's just show the daily that it's got a similar structure. So the Nasdaq is slightly, there's only a slight difference, which I show every week as well, that this would have been similar to the S&P 500, but this structure, according to the rules and guideline, it's not compliant to an expanding flat. This expanding flat does not comply to the Fibonacci levels. So this is they simply made a 3-wave move like this. Okay, and from there it started pushing higher like the others. Now we've been busy making corrective structures. This one has reached the all-time highs last week already. We're still at the all-time highs, and it looks like we're correcting at the all-time highs. That's telling you that this will push higher. Now, what is happening with this? Now, those who trade support and resistance will be expecting a possible reversal there because of that resistance, and they'll even call it untested resistance. So we don't look at support and resistance. We look at Fibonacci levels. We look at structural levels, and that is more accurate. That is why you'll see that most of the analysis, or 95% of the analysis on these videos are accurate, because market moves in waves. Right, so this is the Nasdaq. Let's look at the rest of the UK 100. UK 100 also forecasted that reversal. Forecasted this reversal, came into the blue box and started pushing higher. This has made a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move now. Let's see how this one plays at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're expecting that we're gonna get a pullback. It has already started here. Let's look in the 4 hour. We already started with this pullback to the upside. You'll see that this one is not necessarily making a impulsive last wave 5 as the other indices. Let's look at the 4 hour. We're making this pullback now. Look at this pullback, that is 1, 2, 3, showing us that we're still gonna push up higher. If we get a corrective structure, we're still gonna push higher here. And that is the three-wave structure that has already happened. So a bit of a push to the upside to complete the move with the S&P 500 in terms of correlation on that. That is the UK 100. Just look for the small move to the upside there. The Nikkei also correcting at current levels. Now, as I've indicated, the Nikkei is not making a five-wave move, a five-wave structure. Let's show that in the daily first. The Nikkei is currently not making a five-wave structure with the current move to the upside. And as you can see, it is far from the all-time highs. So the structure and the swing is different. So you're looking at the Nikkei, you'll see that it made a 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 down. That's why we can label this one in blue as WXY. Let's switch off there. That is the structure on the Nikkei. Now going up on the Nikkei, also it is making a 1, 2, 3 lower degree. It is making a 1, 2, 3 lower degree. As I said last week, we're still building this. This is this one. This is this degree. Now this will be a W, this will be an X. Now your Y will be somewhere here, as you can see. That's why it's important to understand the sequence. Now what is this gonna do? It is going to make this structure, it's gonna make this structure, it's gonna make that structure. Okay, so that will be a higher degree W, higher degree X, and then you'll expect a Y to the upside. So this structure looks like it's still gonna go sideways. Still gonna go sideways. Why do I say that? Because this may look like, this may be something like this. 1, 2, 3 can be represented by a W, 1, 2, 3 by an X, and you can come back for another 1, 2, 3 Y, then another push to the upside. Unfortunately, I don't have space there, but you can see what we're trying to do. So this will be your W, this will be your X, that will be your Y. You will see that this is a higher degree, regular flat possibly, or even an expanding flat. Okay, but for now, we're not looking at that. Is long-term, that is long-term forecast or medium to long-term forecast. For now, we just want this to push a little bit higher to complete the W, and then we get this pullback. You see that we're expecting a pullback, a bit of a deeper pullback on all the indices. Okay, so look to go by the break of this to complete that one small move. That is the Nikkei. The DAX. Right, DAX has also made a three-wave move to the upside here. We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3. 1, 2, 3. Deeper correct expanding flat there. Okay, could this be another 1, 2, 3, and this one is complete, and now we start getting a pullback. You can see all indices are telling us a bit of a pullback before we push higher. They're not saying reversal, corrective structures as correct at current levels. Okay, so that is the same thing on the DAX as well. All right, so if we start correcting outside this channel here, then we're gonna go and retest the previous highs on the DAX as well. So let's watch the structure that develops at current levels. Right, that concludes all the indices, except we still have the one, we still have the Nifty, so let's look at the Nifty. The Nifty also, let's have a look. It has made this three-wave move to the upside. You see, we've got wave 4, we're looking for a wave 5 there. So the structure here may not be a WXY structure. Let's see how this one plays out. It may be a diagonal that happens here. So what do we have here? We've got this here as a 1, 2, 3 structure. Okay, how is this going to play out? Let's see if we're going to get something like this. Another structure like that. Or we'll simply get a diagonal here. This is a wave 5, so we may get just a diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As long as the diagonal complies to the rules, we will accept it. So keep an eye on it. It is currently correcting for another move to the upside. Sun Pharmaceutical, the stock that we do for the Indian traders in the group who prefer to trade this stock. Last week we were looking at this corrective structure. One, you see a corrective structure there, 1, 2, 3. It's a pullback. So you've got 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 back. So it may still make another 1, 2, 3 here, another 1, 2, 3, making this a WXY structure, and another move to the upside like that, making the whole thing a WXY. Now that's long-term forecast. For now, you just need to watch how this structure develops. You've got a move here. This could do that to go retest the top here. Okay, so that's what you're going to be looking at with this break of the structure. It is pharmaceutical now. Let's look at the US dollar pairs. Let's look at the mergers. Start with the Euro US dollar. Euro US dollar. Okay, so that diagonal that we've been looking at for the last couple of days, looks like it's playing out, as you can see here. So now if you look at the diagonal, I'm not going to go into the detail of the rest of the structure here. You can watch the previous videos, even last week's video, to see how we're looking at this structure. Okay, so now we're just going to look into the diagonal. Now this diagonal can play out as follows: a move up, a corrective structure there, and a move up here to come and complete the wave 4 before we come down with wave 5 and then a push in this structure. As I've always said, remember, this structure does not have to be a zigzag. It can also be it can also go sideways and just make a regular flat or an expanding flat, whichever corrective structure is going to be before we move to the downside. Now, this is becoming more and more clear on Euro US dollar and the DXY. Okay, let's have a look here. Now, if you look here, you have got already divergence. That is telling you that you are definitely going to get a move to the upside. Whether this is the last one here, don't miss this one. Take it anyway, even if this is the perceived way 4, because this may be actually the last move to the upside, and we'll adjust the structure if this one goes here. Okay, so take the move when it makes a pulse. It has already made a pulsing move here. It's busy correcting, so don't miss this one because it can go all the way. Okay, but even so, even if it doesn't go all the way, you move to your structure, your trade to break even at around this area. Okay, so let's look at this in the 4-hour. Let's look in the 4-hour. So the 4-hour, this is what this looks like now. We have made a passing move here. We made a pullback in 3 waves, a very sharp 3 waves. We made another pulsing move. We are busy correcting here. Now you want to take this corrective structure on the break, because this may just go all the way. Okay, but this may also just do that, come back down, do that, and give you a 3-wave structure like that. Let's clear this one here. A 3-wave structure like that, and continue to the downside. And you find that the wave 3 is actually not complete. It does this, and then it still come back like that. Or this will be the wave 4. The wave 4 has this structure. Okay, so keep an eye on this one. It's coming. It's making this corrective structure. You can take this one. Don't miss it because it may go. We're looking at that divergence. This may go at any time, and you don't want to watch it go without you being in it. So look at this corrective structure. Minimum, take it here, move the stop to break even at that level. We're not giving signals. This is just how I would approach this one. This is Euro US dollar. The move is coming. Looking at US dollar CAD. US dollar CAD, we looked at this pullback last week. Okay, now let's look a bit in the higher degree here. The expectation is for this one to come and retest this top here. You've got 1, 2, 3 down there. You've got this move here that happened last week Friday is also a 3-wave move. Look at this one. It's a 3-wave move. It went up, it came down. Now it's coming up here. Now it's busy correcting here. That's telling you continuation pattern. Is this gonna go all the way, or is it gonna only reach this level? It looks like we're gonna touch this level. This may do that and give us the move like that, and you get a structure like that to the upside. Let's look at the daily here. Look at the overall structure. Now, if you look at this here, we've got a move here. We've got a three-wave move. We've got a three-wave move. This may do this one here to come and retest the top. We're still looking for this one to come and retest the top. So that is still pretty much possible. We've got a three-wave pullback here. It's pushing higher. Even though it can do this first before it gets to this level, that will be fine. So look to take this trade here currently, whether we're going to get a move, whether we're going to get this to come here and then down before we go, or it can go from current level to retest the top here. It doesn't matter, but you need to take the trade when it sets up for a buy. Okay, now what are the conditions that we look at for us to buy? That is something, we've got a strategy for that, and we also have the indicators that helps us to determine whether it is ready to go or not. Okay, so we've got this structure here. It's a continuation pattern. Let's see if this is going to take us up here. So now the question is whether it's going to go all the way from here, or it's going to come for one down before it goes. Either way, you want to take this one here when it confirms on US dollar CAD. All right, pound chief, sorry, not pound chief, US dollar chief. Okay, let's go higher degree. US dollar chief, we've been in this long-term diagonal for some time now. So it looks like we're still correcting here. We're still going to push a little bit higher to go and complete that move. For those that have not seen that diagonal that I'm speaking about, that we've looked at for 2 years now, we have been in this diagonal for 2 years. This is the diagonal, okay? We've been focusing the diagonal, although the diagonal started in 2012, we started focusing the diagonal about 22 years ago, around 2017 when we were here. Now we've got that, and then we're looking for this one to now go and complete. Okay, so that's what we're looking at on this one. Look for a push to the upside on this. Okay, that will possibly mean that euro down a little bit there. Pound US dollar. So pound pairs. Now we need to talk about the pound pairs. Let's have a look here. So the pound pairs, let's look at this one first. On pound US dollar. I'm going to do the rest of the pound pairs, but let's look at these ones. Two things that we looked at. We looked at this one to be making an expanding flat here and coming to this level. Let's switch this off. Okay. Then this did not come down in a passing move. It made a three-wave move here. 1, 2, 3. This is why I've been saying the pound pairs. So now this is what happens when I see that a forecast is not playing out as I had planned, the same way I did with the S&P 500. Now this is what you do. You are forecasting that this is going to be an expanding flat. If it is an expanding flat, you want this to go all the way down, right? But then when you see that this is coming down in 3 waves, then obviously your forecast for downside is not accurate. So then what do if you see that you're not accurate? You leave the pair, you let it play out, you get more data. Same thing that was happening here when this was making a 3-wave move down. We invalidated the move to the downside. Because it made a 3-wave move down, that means corrective structure. Okay, so that's why we've been saying in the last 2 or 3 weeks, the pound pairs are making this corrective structure. Actually, for the last 4 weeks, since March, when this started playing out, we're looking at this one to play out to the upside. Okay, now we've made these pulsing moves. If you watch the previous videos, we were looking for these ones to break out of these structures, which has now happened. Okay, now we've got a pulsing move, or even if it's a 3-wave move, we are looking for this to correct at current levels to get one up. What that means is this is not going to be a valid expanding flat anymore, and this is a new move that starts here. And that move has started in 1, 2, 3 waves. It's important to understand the structure. It has made a 3-wave move. And from there, we have also made this 1, 2, 3-wave move. Are we going to push higher? We've got a pulse already. For us to confirm a push higher, we need to get this corrective structure. So we may be sideways for a couple of days here. So let's see how this one plays out. So this also can come retest here first, or it can go from current levels. Either way, you need to track it. So you already have a pulsing move. This one to correct and keep going. That is the structure on all the pound pairs. You'll see that they've all made big moves on Friday. All right. So that is pound US dollar. Now you just want to get a corrective structure for continuation, if that is the move that's going to go. So this looks like it's coming down. It is not confirmed as yet until you get a corrective structure like this. And even this corrective structure can be a three-wave move that does this, that makes another move like that, another move like that, and then goes. So don't be fooled by this passing move to the downside until it completes. Okay, right? Until it completes. You can see a clear five-wave move up, three-wave pullback, and a five-wave move up. Let's see how this current move plays out here. Okay, so that is pound US dollar. We'll look at the rest of the pound pairs. Audi US dollar. Now Audi US dollar is playing out exactly as forecasted. Where's my auto scale? Let's show the labeling there, so you'll see what we labeled this as. We're looking at this as a pulsing move. Let's make it a straight line. This is a pulsing move. We'll switch off here. And this is a three-wave move in red. 1, 2, 3. So we want this to push a little bit lower. It can actually turn at any time now, but we want it to come around this level. Okay, doesn't have to. If we see any signs of reversal there, we'll look at it as such. Now we've got a move up, we've got a pullback, and then you'll expect a push to the upside. So let's look at this here, see if we're still having continuation to the downside, or if we're getting a reversal. So if you look closely on that, you've got a pulsing move, which if it makes this correction, you don't want to miss out, because this could be the reversal. So look to take that as it confirms. You want to look at it on the 1 hour for a clear trade. So here you've got a pulsing move. It's actually a three-wave move and a three-wave pullback. So not a very convincing move. So this can simply do this and still continue to the downside. Remember, I want it to come down like that and make that structure. So that could be a continuation pattern for further downside. Okay, so keep an eye on this one. Not very clear unless it makes a push to the upside like this. Then you'll have a nice three-wave move like that will look like a flag. Then you take it down. That is Audi US dollar. Still possibility for further downside, even with this impulsive. It's actually a three-wave move. Even with this, it can still do this and continue to the downside. Okay, that is Audi US dollar. New Zealand. So New Zealand, let's go 4 hour. 4 hour. So New Zealand on the 4 hour. Last week we looked at, there was a apparent strength on the New Zealand pairs last week. We saw this pulsing move here. We're expecting that this was going to push a little bit higher, but the pullback has now become very deep. Let's see how this is going to play out. We've got this one now here. Is this going to retest the low here? If it does test the low, it's going to change the structure, because now you're going to have something like this, where this is going to be a continuation pattern. Whereas we were actually looking for this one to make a move to the upside. Let's look in the daily and see the higher degree structure. Okay, so I'm looking at the structure here. 1, 2, 3, and a push to the upside. Something like this with this structure here. So let's see if that is still going to happen. That will depend on whether this becomes a continuation pattern. Even if this is a continuation pattern, it can just do this, break the low here, and go. So you need to be careful not to just sell it because it's going like this. So the structure is showing us upside, but they can push it lower here, can fool you and you think it's coming down or it's going to come retest this level here, but it can go like that. Even with this, it is still a continuation pattern for one more down before we go. Keep an eye, track it. That's New Zealand US dollar. Right, last of the US dollar pairs is US dollar ZAR. This is playing out perfectly. This we focused on when it was still coming down here, that it was going to come and retest the 480s level. It is actually on its way there now. Wednesday is the national elections in South Africa, so there may be some volatility on this pair, so keep an eye on it. We may even get to this level. We may even get to this level if this starts pushing up higher like that. So because of that, that will be the possibility that would happen. Okay, so that is US dollar ZAR. It will be very interesting how this plays out on Wednesday during the elections. All right, so keep an eye. We're getting a corrective structure now. Let's look at this on the 4-hour. So if you look at this on the 4-hour, it has made a running flat here. 1, 2, 3. And it is now making another move to the upside. So that is continuation. So this can very likely come to this and can even break to the top. So the structure does not, the geopolitics does not make the structure. Okay, the structure has been playing out way before the geopolitics started playing out. So let's see how this is going to play out. Okay, so we looked at this one just to show the structure. That's just to show the structure. So we've got this one, this move here as an A. So there's a possibility that you can get this one to come up here, come down for one and go. This move here can happen in an impulse, and then you can get this one making another impulsive move. So this 1, 2, 3 moves can happen in a matter of days. So let's keep an eye because there's going to be a lot of volatility on the pair. Keep an eye on it. Elections on the 8th of May. That is on Wednesday. Okay. Right, let's carry on. This is US dollar ZAR. Right, we can move on to the rest of the pairs. I didn't look at the DXY. So the DXY is just the opposite of the euro. Let's see how this is playing out. It's just to see what the euro is going to do clearly. So we could be getting this as a 3-wave pullback here. You already have this pulsing move. So you've got this one here, you've got 1, 2, 3 here. You can have this one here, it's correcting. You may get this one here. So that means euro will still push a little bit higher. Okay, but even here, we're still looking for this to be making a diagonal in the higher degree. So that will still be a structure like this. Can even do this and do that. So that is the structure where I showed that this could be a wave 4. Not like that. Let's show this structure here. You've got this one. Let's show this one in red. On the DXY, it's just the opposite of the euro. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So 1, let's label it with the right color, right degree. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So that is what the diagonal will look like on the DXY. It's just the opposite of the euro, something like this. Something like that. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at. All right, so watch this structure on the DXY. Let's look now at silver and gold. Silver and gold are looking rather interesting and are playing out according to the diagonals that we forecasted last week. Let's look at gold first. So silver and gold, let's switch this off first. We looked at these structures as pullbacks. 1, 2, 3. There's a 3-wave move here. 1, 2, 3. This is a clear A. This is a clear B. And we say the C has to end in a diagonal. And it looks like it has made that diagonal and it looks like it is complete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ending diagonal in wave C that plays out like this. Do it cleanly. And that is your diagonal in wave C. Very, very clear. But this needs to be confirmed by the corrective structure at current levels. So we've already made after the completion of the diagonal, we already made a pulsing move to the upside. Are we going to get a corrective structure here? If we do, then we're going to go all the way up and retest the top or even go further up. Okay, so both silver and gold are making this exact same structures. Now, what do you have here on the 4-hour? If you look at the 4-hour, you already have a pulsing move. Let's look at the 4-hour. 4-hour, you already have this pulsing move. Now, you just want this to be a corrective structure for further upside. Okay, so that is gold, silver. Pairs looking rather interesting here. Silver also, if you look at this, let's look at that. It has also made a clear ABC structure. A down here, B, and the C. What is this C? This C is an ending diagonal. Let's mark it as well. Ending diagonal. Now, the nice thing about this is we don't forecast this in hindsight. Way before this was starting to play out, because we could see that this was an A, we knew that this was going to make a diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, we've already made a passing move for the new move. This needs to give us a corrective structure to go and retest the top here. To go and retest this top here. Let's see if we get this corrective structure. Don't rush. If you don't get a corrective structure, that means that is not confirmed as yet. All right, so that's silver and gold. Now let's look at the yen pairs. We'll start with pound JPY. Now pound JPY, the same as the other pound pairs. We've been looking at this corrective structure here. Now I have to show you again the daily structure on pound JPY, why I am so adamant that I want this to push higher. I think some of you have seen this a couple of times now. This is a clear three-wave structure here. 1, 2, and I'm looking for this to be a 3. Okay, now what's happening here is I already have a pulsing move in the lower degree. Let's show this in red. I already have a pulsing move here, and I'm looking for this to be a corrective structure. We'll look at this corrective structure in the lower degree just now. That's why I want this to at least come to the 156. I've been talking about 156 for over 2 months now on this pair, because this has already made a three-wave structure like this. 1, 2, 3, ending this one with a diagonal. So this one has made an A, B, C. Now you'll see that here you've got a diagonal, A, B, C, D, E. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rather, because it's a diagonal. So you got something like this. You got something like this. Now you've got this one here as a three-wave pullback, something like this, which is 1, 2, 3. So that is why I'm saying I want this structure to be 1, 2, 3 up W, 1, 2, 3 back X, 1, 2, 3 up Y. And that Y actually should go beyond the 156 level. We're currently in this corrective structure here. We want it to push higher. Okay, so now let's go into that corrective structure in the lower degree. So if you wanted to label this, you can just put in the numbers. Let me just clear all of this. You'll see that this is already done. It's already labeled like that. So let's see. We are on the daily now. So how could this play out here? We've got a 1, 2, 3 down here. So that is something like this. We've got 1, 2, 3 here. It could be something like this. And we could be coming down here for 1 before we push up higher as we anticipate. Now let's look in the 4-hour to see what we're getting. Clear, switch off the structures there. So that is the 1, 2, 3 here. And that is the 1, 2, 3 there, the structure. It has already made a passing move to the downside. Are we going to get this one to come and do this and make a WXY structure? It looks like we're coming down. We've made a passing move. We're correcting. It's going to come down here before we push higher. Keep track, keep an eye on it. As pound JPY, USD JPY, expected this one to come and retest the low here. Looks like it's going to make an expanding flat here. Not an expanding flat, a running flat. So this, if it makes a running flat, we already have a pulsing move to the upside. If we get a corrective structure here, take it up. Okay, so this is the structure on USD JPY that I've shown even for the last couple of days as well. This is how this is playing out. This is a three-wave move to the upside that follow the red. 1, 2, 3. Follow the red again. 1, 2, 3. So this one, even if it doesn't test here, it has broken above this. So it can be a running flat that can push up higher from there and make this one a running flat correction for a push to the upside. Let's switch this off here. Simple structure like that. Now we've got already here a passing move to the upside, corrective structure. We'll take it up. Okay. Otherwise, this can just be a 3-wave pullback, and then we retest here. If it comes here, buy order. It's not going to go all the way. If it comes down to this level, you put in a buy order because that will be the structure that pushes higher. It will be the structure. Okay, US dollar JPY, Euro JPY. So Euro JPY, we want this one to push a little bit lower. 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay, it is making a passing move here at current levels. Doesn't mean anything as yet until it makes a corrective structure for upside here, making the structure here. 3-wave up, 3-wave pullback, and a move to the upside. Can still push a little bit lower. Let's just show here the labelings. Can still push a little bit lower and make a structure like this. Okay, and then go. But let's watch and see what we have here. This is the 4-hour, and on the 4-hour, you already have a passing move and a correction. You have a passing move, and this is correcting. This correction needs to be clear for upside. Chief JPY, similar to Euro JPY. Now this one will be invalidated. This structure will be invalidated if it goes beyond or below this. For now, this structure is still valid. It can still make this structure and push higher. Okay. So let's see how this one plays out. It is not making a passing move and a correction like the others. So it can do that 1, 2, 3-wave pullback and still continue to the downside. Maybe even go back to the lows. So this one, not very clear, Chief JPY. So you want to stay away from that one for now. Now Audi JPY, 1, 2, 3. Now you're getting a passing move exactly as we have forecasted. Now you're getting a passing move here and upside. I did say that if it comes down to this level, you put in a buy order. Your buy should have been triggered here. Now you've got a passing move, you've got a corrective structure that should push it higher. You can see how clear this structure is. This is what it looks like. Let's switch off here. This is a passing move first. And you've got this move here. You've got this one in green, internal one, complex B correction here, 1, 2, 3. And then you got the last move here, a textbook expanding flat. Will this play out? Will be confirmed if you get a corrective structure here. Look for a corrective structure either in the 4-hour or the 1 hour. Then you're going to get a very nice trade like this one. What does this structure look like now? This is your W, X, and the Y. Now on the red here, you've got A, higher degree, B is the whole green, and the C. Now this one should push higher. Let's see if we've got any indication that this is going to push a little bit higher. Let's check the divergence. Okay, not much of divergence on this swing here, but we've got already a passing move here. Will be confirmed for upside. Okay, but the structure is very clear. It is a passing move. It is a passing move, a corrective structure in 3 waves like that, 1, 2, 3, and another passing move, and then another passing move. Clear, this is what we're expecting. We're expecting that we're gonna have a structure like this. Very clear stuff. Doesn't get clearer than that. That's Audi JPY, New Zealand JPY. New Zealand JPY, similar structure. Similar structure, you've got a passing move, you've got a correction, we've got another move. Okay, this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like it's ending with a diagonal. So you also have an ABC structure here. A, B, C. Now, this structure will be invalidated if this goes beyond or below this point. We actually write here, if this goes below this, that will be invalidated. Okay, currently we've got a reversal right on the invalidation area. And if this corrects, we're going to expect this one to play this correction. And that correction looks like this. Expanding flat. So the expanding flat will be invalidated if this goes significantly lower than that level. Let's just start off here. Okay, so that is the structure that we'll be looking at on this one. Look for that corrective structure for upside. Lastly, on the yen pairs, let's look at the CAD-JPY. At JPY, looks like it's reversing at this level. We're looking at this one as a three-wave pullback. 1, 2, 3. Now, there's a bit of a trick here because this one is making a 5-wave move up here. And we'll look at this one to be making 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, possibly correction for one more down here. Okay, so this has already played out here. Okay, so now we're looking for this one. This one here, I'm gonna draw it here just to make the structure clearer. So this can come and retest the top here. Or this top here first. This top here first actually. So watch out, we've already have a pulse, we have a correction. We'll look for this one to test here. This can even do this, making this WXY structure for a push to the upside. As you can see, we've got a pulse and a corrective structure. This corrective structure has to complete, it's still premature right now. That's CAD-JPY. Now we'll look at the pound pairs. Let's look at the pound pairs, pound chief. All the pound pairs, we spoke about how they were going to push up and they have pushed higher after these three-wave pullbacks. This one made an expanding flat, has now pushed to the upside. As forecasted now, is it gonna break above this? If it starts correcting at current levels, it should break above that. Now, also, if you look at the pound, if you look at pound chief, we're also looking at this expanding flat, which now is going to be invalidated. Okay, so that means this is the new string that is starting here. This is the orthodox low here. Okay, so that is made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. We're busy with this corrective structure. Okay, we're busy with this corrective structure. Is this gonna go sideways and push higher? Let's see. But for now, look for this to correct here at current levels. If it does, we're pushing higher, much higher. All right. This is pound chief. Let's look at pound New Zealand. We spoke about this one. This was the setup that we discussed for the last couple of days. It has now reached. It missed the target by a couple of pips, but you can take off this one and protect your profits. Now, what do we expect here? Correction like the rest of the other pairs. Let's just switch off here. Question is whether this has now completed 1, 2. If you remember when this was making this three-wave move here, we actually forecasted that this was going to come up here. That is the reason why we've got that as the target, which was missed by a few pips. It can still push a little bit higher. Let's watch and see how this plays out here. Before any pullback, even if we get a pullback, that pullback can be in 3 waves. So what you'll have is 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 back. And you get another 3-wave move to the upside. So let's see how that one plays out. Let's see how this plays out here. We still need to get a bit of a corrective structure. The pound pairs don't look like they're done with the upsides. Let's look at the 1 4 hour here. Even though you've got this pulsing move on the 4 hour and looking like a correction, this can do this. and keep pushing higher. So keep an eye on those ones. But for now, you must protect your profits if you took this one. Pound Audi, same. This one has hit the target right to the pip, not a pip higher, not a pip lower, and started reversing. So you want to stay out of this one and wait for this to give you more information. A corrective structure will give you an indication as to where we go next. You can do that and keep pushing higher as well. Let's keep an eye on this. Pound CAD. Pound CAD also, we looked at this V pattern here. Just remember the V pattern that is now pushed up higher. What is going to happen here? Now we just need to wait for more information. No need to rush. Are we going to get this one to push to the upside? Let's keep an eye on that one. That is Pound CAD. Euro Pound also. If you remember last week, yes, where we looked at this one to be making this structure. This is a regular flat. Okay, misses there. It should come here to around this area. This one should come here around this area, but you can use your own discretion here to call this a regular flat and not a contracting flat. Now, what we have here is a 1, is a 2, is a 3-wave move, and now this is now was the entry point as we expected the pound pairs to push higher while Euro Pound is coming down. Okay, so we've got a pulsing move here. We need to get a corrective structure to confirm if this is the end of the move for a bit of a move to the upside. This move also means a bit of a push to the low side on the pound pairs. So you just need to get these corrective structures on both the pound pairs as the base pairs as well as Euro Pound where it is the quoted pair. All right, so that is Euro Pound there. Did we do all the pound pairs? Pound CAD, yes, I think we did all the pound pairs. Now let's look at the rest of the Euro pairs. Euro Audi made an interesting structure. Let's look in the daily and pushed higher. We're still expecting it to push higher with Pound Audi. Okay, so this is the structure that we looked at on Euro Audi. We actually expected this to go a little bit lower than this. So this can actually be making this structure here. Unfortunately, you're playing with the puzzles here, so it can make this structure like this before it pushes higher. Maybe even retest this low here. Okay, you already have a move to the downside. This move needs to be confirmed by a flag for downside. We'll look at this one again in the next week to see how this is playing out. So that could be playing out this structure, which is a 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 down, and a pulsing move. Then we get this one here, which is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's keep an eye and see how this plays out. Euro Audi, Euro New Zealand. Euro New Zealand also seems to be making, it has made a pulsing move to the downside. It is now making this structure. Is this going to push up higher to come and retest this top here? Looks likely. Let's see if we can get a corrective structure here that will come and retest here. If that plays out, then that means from there, we're going to get a move to the downside. If you remember Euro New Zealand on the daily, the structure was something like this. Let's look at the labeling here. Do you still have it? This was a WXYXZ. That structure ended there, and then now we're looking for this one to come down, correct, and then come down. Can even come back as low as this level, but let's watch first. That's long-term forecast. All right, that is Euro New Zealand, Euro CAD. Euro CAD, if we just look on this one here, it looks like, let's look at the 4-hour here. Because the structure here in the higher degree was this one. Move down, expanding flat like that, and this move to the downside, which is now making this corrective structure here. Okay, there's a bit of a pullback here that you see. This could be this one here. This one looks a little bit larger than this one, but the idea is to get a structure like this. an A, B, C structure to the coming to the downside. So let's have a look at this one in the lower degree. Let's clean this up first. Let's look at this structure in the 4-hour. See what we're getting here. What we have here is a 3-wave move to the upside. And we're getting this structure here, looking like a 3-wave move that is incomplete as yet. That should push up higher in 3 waves. So let's wait and see how this one plays out. Okay, you can try to figure it out here, but it can play out a number of ways. So for now, we'll just leave this one as is. It could be making a W X, which is 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 down. So it can make a WXY before it actually goes to the upside. So don't be surprised if it comes for one more down before we get this move. Because that will be a W, that will be a X, that will be a Y in the higher degree. Okay, so this correction is a little bit complex and we may be wrong here. So let's see. But what you will see is when the correction is complete, you won't miss it. That is EuroCAD. EuroChief, we've made a 3-wave pullback here. I'm looking in the short degree here now. Just look for this one to come retest the top here. It can do a structure like this, can make a structure like this, down, 3 waves, down like that before it goes up. Okay, so let's look at the daily and see the structure that we looked at on this one. So if you look at the daily, we're looking at this structure to be a continuation pattern here, 1, 2, 3, and then come down. But you can see that that is already coming down. It's not coming down, but it's making a 3-wave structure. So that's telling us maybe a continuation pattern to the upside before we come down. Okay, so maybe break the previous high first before we come down. Same thing we're expecting with the Euro US dollar, a bit of a push higher and then come down. That concludes all the Euro pairs. Let's look at some of the cross pairs, then we'll look at oil as well. Audi New Zealand. Now, if we look at Audi New Zealand, we're still looking at this structure, 1, 2, 3 here. Now we've got a pullback here. Is this gonna go, is this a reversal or a pullback? Let's see if we get a corrective structure here. That corrective structure can even do this, and you can even go sideways here. Something like this, 1, 2, 3, pulsing move like that. Okay, so let's see. All this can come down and retest the previous low here. Let's show on the daily why that structure is possible for coming down here. And the reason why we have this structure in the first place is because we wanted it to do this. Push higher. This being all of the correction here, comes and retests the previous low here, and then push higher like that. So this is the structure. So if you look at this one here, we wanted it to come down here. So this currently here can be a continuation pattern, 1, 2, 3 waves that pushes lower to come and retest this here. Because if that happens, you're gonna have 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 to the downside. Let's clean it up. This is just showing you that this structure that we're looking at is a continuation pattern that can take this all the way down here. And that will be a WXY structure to the downside. If it comes down here, you put in a buy order at the one at parity here. That will be the structure that you're looking for, because then you're looking for this big move to complete a simple ABC structure here. ABC structure. Okay, so that looks very interesting there. Let's see if it's going to come down. Otherwise, this can keep going, and this C move could also already be starting here, because it does not have to touch the low here. So watch for both possibilities there. Looking at the New Zealand CAD now, we expected the New Zealand pairs to be strong in the last week. So now we've got here a pulsing move in 5 waves. Now it's making this corrective structure. We're getting a V pattern here. This can push a bit higher. Let's look at this closely now. Could be a very interesting one here if you catch this one. Let's look on the 4-hour. Get any signs of reversal there? Let's see. This one has made a move down, a correction, and a move down. Are we getting any divergence? Yes, we are getting divergence here. This can come for one. This can make a new lower high. And then this will be the move that will mean that this now starts playing out to the upside. Okay, that will be the continuation pattern. It will be very interesting if this one plays out like that. And then we go. Looking very likely. Okay, that is New Zealand CAD, New Zealand Chief, New Zealand Chief, pulsing move to the upside, a bit of a push to the upside. Audi Chief, pulsing move to the upside after a 3-wave correction. You've got a pulsing move here, you've got a 3-wave pullback. Now you already have a pulsing move here. Don't worry about missing this. If you get a corrective structure here, you've got a high probable trade for upside. This Audi Chief, CAD Chief. A Chief also looking upside with this structure. Pulsing move already, look for a correction for upside. That is your 1, 2, 3-wave structure continuation pattern. Now we can look at oil. Lastly, we look at oil. Let's look at oil. Oil is finally making the pullback here. Let's look on the daily. Let's watch the pullback on oil. Let's switch on this here. What we have here on oil is a 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look here. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. That makes an A. That makes a B here. Let's clean it up. Let's show the 5-wave moves in red here. You've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3, you've got 4, you've got 5. Okay, here you've got 1, you've got 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could be a wave 4. Could make 1 first before we come down. So let's wait for this one to give us a structure. But this one will be a little bit smaller than this one. Because if you're looking at this as a C, this C will be overextended. I don't like C's that are long, so long, much longer than with A like that. Let's see what we have here. Here we can see that we're getting a 3-wave pullback. This is actually going to be your A here. A, B, and a C. This makes much more sense because then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves here. Even this one will be an internal one, something like this A, B, C structure, and then now the pullback. Okay, so this one makes much more sense. Now let's look at the lower degree here on the 4-hour. Look at the last piece that is pulling back. So on this here, it looks like after this 3-wave pullback, we're gonna push higher if we get a corrective structure like this. Okay, that's all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. Please hit the like and the subscribe button so you can get a notification next time the video is posted. So next week, we return back to our usual slot on Sunday mornings. I'll confirm the times. As you've seen in the beginning of the video, you've seen where to find the links. Have a great week, guys. Cheers. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.